I am Julia Weiss, and I wrote Tammy, a coming-of-age story about a girl who's part T-Rex. I do improv in Chicago, and one night during a rehearsal, um, a couple of my friends were, a couple of my teammates were in a scene in which, like, one was, like, a scientist and one was his assistant, and they, somehow, the woman became impregnated with, like, dinosaur seed, if you will. And so then, like, later in the show, I came out to play, like, an awkward teenager who couldn't balance the fact that she was, like, part dinosaur, part human. And my coach was like, this is a great character. You should do something with it. And so I thought about it for a long time and was just sort of, like, thinking about who I was when I was in middle school and thinking about, like, the actual experiences that I had and how I sort of did feel like some sort of, like, freak, like, trapped in, like, an unexplainable prison. And so I sort of took that character and married it to my own middle school experience, and I listened to a lot of sweet music from, like, 1997, 1998 while I was writing it, all of which, like, really bled into the play. And it wasn't until we put it up in Chicago that I realized how universal my middle school experience was. Like, there were all these adults, like, in the seats, like, yeah, this is, like, my life. I feel like when I write a play, everyone comes from some part of myself, even, like, the characters that are terrible people. But after the first production of Tammy opened, I found my middle school journal and was shocked at how much it was almost exactly some of the things that I wrote for Tammy. And I hadn't found it before I wrote the play. Like, all of that was just still inside of my brain and, like, my memories. But I definitely, Tammy is a very specific part of myself, and I think Hope is also a specific part of myself, and Mrs. Sanchez, to an extent, is part of myself, but Tammy is me. We opened it at a theater in Chicago, a little storefront theater on the north side that I sort of started working at when I first moved to Chicago. They're Corn Productions. It's my best friend Annalise directed it, and we met in college, and she directs all my stuff. She directs at Second City now. And so that was the first production, and then it's been produced by a lot of high schools now, and which at first I was like, they won't get it, but they totally do, and they're great at it. I love this play a lot. I don't think that I've ever had something so personal be seen by so many strangers, and that's really, really cool. It was cool when it first got produced to, like, look around and see how many people were crying during this play that I had written to be very funny. My mom came to see it in Chicago, and we left after the show, and she just, like, broke down. She was like, I had no idea how hard that was for you. I'm so sorry. I didn't know how much pain you were in. It's just, like, really, it's crazy to see other people relate to that pain and also be aware of my pain. I hope that everyone feels something when they watch my play. I hope you laugh, and if you feel like crying, I hope you do that too, because it's a healthy release of emotions. I think small town Indiana would be benefited from a healthy expression of emotion. And I also just want to say to Valparaiso, any similarities between names in my play and maybe people who I went to middle school with are absolutely on purpose.